The flickering neon sign of the rusty mug cast long shadows across the rain-slicked streets of Seattle as I, Alaric, sat nursing a lukewarm beer. At 46, I was an IT specialist, a fixer of digital messes, but tonight my own life felt irreparably broken. The rain mirrored the storm inside me, a tempest of disbelief and rage. Just 3 weeks ago, my life with Isolde had seemed perfect. We'd been married for 18 years, built a comfortable life, and though the spark had dimmed somewhat, I believed we were happy, content. Then came the whispers, the subtle shifts in Isolde's behavior. She started staying late at the law firm where she worked as a paralegal, claiming demanding cases. Her phone, once an open book, became a fortress of passwords and hushed conversations held in the hallway. I initially dismissed it as stress, work-related pressure, but a nagging unease began to gnaw at me. The first real crack appeared on a Tuesday. I'd planned a surprise dinner, a simple gesture to reconnect. I called her office at 5 p.m., only to be told she'd left hours earlier for a conference in Portland. Portland. She hadn't mentioned any conference. My heart clenched. I tried calling her cell straight to voicemail. That night I barely slept, replaying every recent interaction, searching for clues I'd missed. The following days were a blur of anxiety. I tried talking to Isolde, but she was evasive, distant. "Work is crazy, Alaric. Can we talk about this later?" Later never came. She was always busy, always tired. I felt like I was losing her, watching her slip away into a world I wasn't invited to. Then came the anonymous text. "Check her email. He's waiting." My hands trembled as I unlocked Isolde's laptop while she was in the shower. I knew I was violating her privacy, but the desperation to know the truth overwhelmed me. Her inbox was clean, but then I saw a hidden folder labeled Projects. Inside, a series of emails with a man named Cassian, a senior partner at her firm. The emails started innocently enough, work-related discussions, but quickly escalated into flirtatious banter, then outright declarations of love. "I can't stop thinking about you, Isolde. These stolen moments in the office aren't enough. I want you," one email read. My breath hitched. Another email from Isolde. "I feel so alive when I'm with you, Cassian. Alaric doesn't understand me like you do. I deserve to be happy." The world tilted on its axis. My wife, the woman I'd shared my life with, was having an affair, and she was blaming me for her unhappiness. The knife twisted deeper with each email I read, detailing secret lunches, late-night rendezvous, and promises of a future together. I felt like I was drowning in a sea of betrayal. I confronted Isolde that night, the laptop open on the kitchen table, the incriminating emails displayed for all to see. She initially denied it, gaslighting me, saying I was paranoid, insecure. "You're imagining things, Alaric. Cassian is just a colleague." But the truth was etched on her face, the guilt radiating from her like a toxic cloud. When I pressed her, she finally broke down, confessing everything. Tears streamed down her face as she recounted the affair, painting Cassian as her soulmate, the man who truly understood her. "I didn't mean for it to happen, Alaric, but I'm in love with him," she sobbed. "In love," the words echoed in my head, a cruel mockery of the vows we'd exchanged. "What about us, Isolde? What about our marriage, our life together?" "I don't know," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "I haven't been happy in a long time. I thought maybe we could work through it," but she trailed off, unable to meet my gaze. The next few weeks were a living hell. We lived in the same house, but we were strangers, ghosts haunting the same space. I tried to salvage the marriage, suggesting counseling, open communication, anything to bridge the chasm that had opened between us. But Isolde was already gone, her heart and soul consumed by Cassian. I started drinking more, losing myself in the bottom of a bottle, trying to numb the pain. Sleep became a luxury, haunted by nightmares of Isolde and Cassian, their faces contorted in mocking smiles. One evening, fueled by whiskey and despair, I decided to confront Cassian. I drove to his house, a sprawling mansion in the upscale neighborhood of Medina, the rain lashing against my windshield. I parked across the street, watching the house, waiting for him to emerge. Hours passed, and just as I was about to give up, a car pulled into the driveway. Cassian stepped out, a tall, handsome man with an air of arrogance about him. He was followed by Isolde, her face radiant, her hand resting possessively on his arm. A wave of nausea washed over me. Seeing them together, so carefree, so in love, shattered the last vestiges of hope I'd been clinging to. I wanted to scream, to lash out, but I was paralyzed by grief and anger. I sat there for what felt like an eternity, watching them disappear inside the house. Then a cold, calculating rage began to simmer within me. I wouldn't let them get away with this. I wouldn't let them destroy my life without consequences. I started documenting everything. I hired a private investigator to gather evidence of their affair, meticulously collecting emails, photos, and witness statements. I consulted with a lawyer preparing for a divorce, determined to protect my assets and my future. As I delved deeper into their affair, I discovered a disturbing pattern. Cassian had a history of preying on vulnerable women at the firm, using his power and influence to seduce them, then discarding them when he grew bored. Isolde was just the latest victim in his twisted game. Armed with this information, I decided to expose them. I anonymously leaked the evidence of their affair to the partners at the law firm, along with Cassian's history of misconduct. The fallout was swift and devastating. Cassian was forced to resign in disgrace, his reputation ruined. Isolde was ostracized, her career in tatters, but that wasn't enough. I wanted them to suffer the same pain I had endured. I filed a lawsuit against Cassian for alienation of affection, a legal maneuver that allowed me to sue him for damages caused by the affair. The lawsuit became a public spectacle, dragging their dirty laundry into the spotlight. The media frenzy was relentless. Isolde and Cassian were hounded by reporters, their lives dissected and scrutinized by the public. Their relationship crumbled under the pressure, the facade of love and happiness replaced by bitterness and resentment. As their lives imploded, I felt a cold satisfaction. I had exacted my revenge, exposing their deceit and bringing them to their knees. But the victory felt hollow. The pain of betrayal still lingered, a deep wound that refused to heal. The divorce was finalized, and I walked away with a settlement that ensured my financial security. I sold the house we'd shared, unable to bear the memories that haunted its walls. I moved to a small apartment overlooking Puget Sound, seeking solace in the vastness of the ocean. I tried to move on, to rebuild my life, but the scars of betrayal ran deep. I struggled to trust anyone, to open myself up to the possibility of love again. The affair had changed me, hardening my heart, leaving me cynical and guarded. One day, months after the divorce, I received a letter from Isolde. She apologized for the pain she had caused, admitting that she had been foolish and selfish. She revealed that Cassian had abandoned her, moving on to another woman, leaving her alone and broken. "I understand if you can never forgive me, Alaric," she wrote. "But I want you to know that I regret everything. I ruined our life and I destroyed myself in the process." I stared at the letter, my heart a mixture of pity and resentment. I couldn't forgive her, not completely, but I could understand her. We were both victims of Cassian's manipulation, pawns in his twisted game. I never responded to the letter. I didn't know what to say. Some wounds are too deep to heal, some betrayals too profound to forgive. I continued to rebuild my life, slowly, painstakingly. I focused on my work, my hobbies, my friendships. I started volunteering at a local animal shelter, finding solace in the unconditional love of the animals. I even started dating again, tentatively exploring the possibility of finding happiness with someone new. The scars of betrayal will always be there, a reminder of the pain I endured. But I refuse to let them define me. I am a survivor, a warrior who has emerged from the ashes of heartbreak, stronger and more resilient than before. Years passed. I met someone new, Bront, a kind, compassionate woman who understood my pain and helped me to heal. We built a life together, a life based on trust, honesty, and mutual respect. I finally found the happiness I thought I had lost forever. One evening, Bront and I were walking along the beach, watching the sunset paint the sky in vibrant colors. She turned to me, her eyes filled with love. "You know, Alaric," she said, "you deserve all the happiness in the world. You've been through so much, and you've come out stronger on the other side." I smiled, taking her hand in mine. "I couldn't have done it without you, Bront. You've shown me that it's possible to love again, to trust again." As we stood there watching the sun sink below the horizon, I realized that the pain of betrayal had finally faded, replaced by a sense of peace and gratitude. I had survived the storm, and I had emerged into the sunlight, ready to embrace the future with open arms. But the final twist came unexpectedly. A few years later, I received a call from a detective in Los Angeles. Cassian had been arrested for fraud and embezzlement, accused of swindling millions of dollars from his clients. It turned out that his charm and charisma were just a facade, a mask for a ruthless con artist. I felt a strange sense of closure. Cassian's true nature had finally been revealed, his lies and deceit exposed for all to see. He had destroyed so many lives, but now he was finally facing the consequences of his actions. I never saw Isolde again. I heard through mutual acquaintances that she had moved to a small town in Oregon, working as a waitress, living a quiet, unremarkable life. I wondered if she ever thought about me, about the life we had lost. I hoped that she had found some measure of peace, some semblance of happiness. My story is a cautionary tale, a reminder that betrayal can strike when you least expect it, shattering your world and leaving you to pick up the pieces. But it's also a story of resilience, of survival, of finding hope and happiness in the face of unimaginable pain. It's a story about learning to trust again, to love again, to embrace the future, even when the past casts a long shadow. And maybe, just maybe, it's a story about karma, about the universe balancing the scales, ensuring that those who inflict pain and suffering eventually face the consequences of their actions. It took a long time, but in the end, justice was served, and I was finally able to move on, leaving the ghosts of the past behind. I learned that love isn't always enough, trust is paramount, and sometimes the greatest revenge is simply living well, finding happiness and proving that you can emerge from the darkness, stronger and more resilient than ever before. The rain has stopped now, and a sliver of moon peeks through the clouds. I finish my beer, the bitter taste lingering on my tongue. It's time to go home to Bront, to the life I've rebuilt. The scars may still be there, but they no longer define me. I am Alaric, a survivor, and I am finally free. *** summary. Alaric, an IT specialist in Seattle, discovers his wife Isolde's affair with Cassian, a senior partner at her firm, through incriminating emails. Devastated by the betrayal, Alaric initially spirals into despair, but then channels his pain into meticulously gathering evidence and exposing the affair, leading to Cassian's disgrace and Isolde's ostracization. He divorces Isolde, wins a settlement, and eventually finds love again with Bront. Years later, Cassian is arrested for fraud, revealing his true nature as a con artist. Alaric finds closure, realizing that while the scars of betrayal remain, he has become stronger and more resilient, ultimately finding peace and happiness. To anyone who's ever felt the sting of betrayal, know that you're not alone. Healing is possible and a brighter future awaits. Keep your head up and never give up on the possibility of love and happiness.